Hello and welcome back to the Hoop Trick Encyclopedia. So today we're going to learn about a trick called the jump through. So first of all, I want to recommend that you use your larger hoop. So if you have a couple different sizes, try to pick either the medium size or a little bit larger to try this trick in the beginning, because the more space you have, the easier it's going to be to jump through the hoop. Now, if you only have one size, don't worry about that. But obviously, if you have a smaller hoop, then it's going to be slightly harder to learn how to jump through in the beginning. You can still try for this trick, but just a recommendation, the larger the hoop, the easier it's going to be. Okay, so eventually over time, once you learn this trick, you can slowly size down to a smaller hoop. It can be an off-body hoop, it could be a hybrid hoop where you're doing on-body and off-body tricks, so on and so forth. So jump through is really fun. You can get into it when doing a little spin or perhaps helicopter, right? So you remember the helicopter that we already learned. And so then you can just bring the hoop in a horizontal plane and then have it go in one direction. I personally have, my dominant side is always when the right hand is guiding. So I'm gonna start going to the left. So you can choose the opposite direction, obviously, if you're left-handed as your dominant side. So I'm gonna use my right hand, moving the hoop to the left, all right behind the back. And then you can swirl it in front of you, just like this. So as always, the hoop is in between the thumb and the index finger. You're placing your hand pretty much with the palm facing down as it's coming across the top of the hand, and then as it spirals around the thumb and goes around the inside of the hand, do you see how my hand goes from a vertical to a horizontal plane, right? So it's a little bit of movement there. So as you're moving with the hoop to build that momentum, the hand is kind of going up and down. So this is called stirring the pot. I'm not gonna do a whole tutorial on this one because I feel like this one's a little bit easier to grasp in the beginning. So you can certainly go from stir the pot into jump through, right? So jump through, just like I did jump through the hoop, or you can build the momentum up, either bringing the hoop around like so and jumping through, or you can do a swirl and then jump through that way. So there's a few different ways just to get from the horizontal plane, right? So you can do helicopter. I'm using my other hand now just to give my right hand a break. So you may want to switch sides and see how it goes. And then you wait for the opening. So just like we do in most tricks where we have to bring an arm in or an elbow, you're looking for the opening of the hoop and you're timing it. So as soon as you see it nearing the biggest opening, that's when you want to start the motion to jump in. So you almost have to time ahead of the hoop. So as soon as the hoop is right here, it's too late. By the time you get your feet lifted off of the ground, the hoop is going to be somewhere over here and you're going to miss the opening and maybe straddle the hoop or just completely miss it all together. So you really need to be ahead of the hoop. So visually look at where the hoop is going to be. And as a good rule of thumb, when the hoop is about here, you can start the motion to jump in, okay? And so it may take a few times, a little bit of practice to see where in space the hoop needs to be for your body, for your timing. You may jump a little faster or a little bit slower than I do, so you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. So just like I said, good rule of thumb, try to time ahead of the hoop. And if this in a horizontal plane jump through isn't really your style, you can also explore a vertical jump through. So you can get to a vertical jump through from isolation or from vertical hand hooping. And you can do it with one hand, or you can bring two hands into the mix. So maybe you're doing a two-handed isolation and you just use it like jump rope pretty much. That's kind of like a jump rope hoop trick, right? So this is why you want a bigger hoop. I'll just demonstrate what that would look like with a smaller hoop and you'll see a little bit how harder it can be. So let's do the vertical jump through. So you see how low I had to hunch down and squat down to get through the smaller circle. And then the same thing with the smaller hoop in the horizontal plane. So you just really want to start with a bigger hoop in the beginning, just because it's going to make it easier for you to learn the trick and to have that space to work with on timing and mess ups and all that. So the benefit of a jump through would be you can transition from on body to off body, right? So let's say that you're waist hooping. You can grab the hoop, do a little jump through, and then have it in the hands to go into a more horizontal plane. And then you can go from off body, right, to on body. So it's nice to have some transitional tricks. Sometimes when you're transitioning from off body to off body, you can throw in a little jump through. If you're wanting to move through different planes, which I know we've briefly touched on that, but part of the expressionism in hooping is moving through different planes. So think about getting tall, expansive, low to the ground, more contracted, left to right, front to back. All of these are different planes, right? So as you imagine with a jump through, you can go from more of an extended pose to a real low to the ground pose, right? Or you can go from the hoop being down here to the hoop being up overhead. So there's a few different elements to the jump through that you can explore and play with. And now I think we're at the point in your hooping journey where you feel a little bit more comfortable combining postures or combining hoop tricks, right? So if you're not there yet, that's fine. You know, sometimes it's just about learning all of the pieces, and then slowly you can figure out how to put them together. So keep practicing. Remember, at least 10 minutes a day. Don't forget about the other tricks that you've already learned. Keep practicing those as well. And I will see you on the next lesson.